start by introducing you. Hang on one second.
Instead of introducing you each, I'm going to let you do that with this question. You ready? Tell us about yourself, which means how long have you lived in Clarita, what are your Republican convictions, what your line of work, family values, et cetera, say what you want to say.
I'm first.
You are.
Mark Keller, my name, 12 years on the City Council, 3 years on the Planning Commission, previous to that, twice as mayor. Lived here in Santa Clarita for 33 years. My wife is with me, a member, I might add. And presently, I'm making my living as a real estate agent. I have a small company over in the Canyon Country area, and I'm a retired Los Angeles police officer. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank the Republican Women's Federated for this opportunity to speak here, and thank you for holding this forum. I'm Tim Ben Boyston, and I know one thing, that when a Republican woman tells a Republican man what to do, you just do it. And I've been a lifelong Republican, and I lived in Santa Cruz for about 40 years, and I believe that I want to be a Republican because of the fact that the Republican Party is the party of Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, and Ronald Reagan. And I stand by the ideals that they teach. And I'm trying to teach that to my daughter, reading a book right now by Dr. James Dobson on how to raise girls, and I have a 10-year-old. And I don't think this will last as far as getting her to do what I'd like her to do, but she gave me this card for Father's Day, so I want to read it to you. Thanks, Dad, for teaching me right from wrong. That's why I'm a Republican. Happy Father's Day. So, we have to reach out across the aisle to tell people what we are about. Because as Republicans, if we don't do that and be bipartisan, then we cannot tell the other side what we are about. Don't do that to the next one.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm really happy to be here today. I've been here since 1983. My mom, myself, and my brother moved out here and we moved to Canyon Country. Lived up in Sky Blue for a little bit. Went to Canyon High. So did my brother. My sister went to Hart, and my wife was also a member. She's actually a deputy sheriff out here also. She went to Valencia. And I was in the Army. I was in infantry, light infantry first, as enlisted. And then I became an MP, which is military police. And then I was honorably discharged as a staff sergeant. And I got out, got my 2-year degree, my 4-year degree, and then I got my law degree. And now I'm a deputy district attorney. One of the things I do believe in that's very, very important is we need to unite as a party. I am a Christian, and I do believe that we unite as a party. Ronald Reagan would appreciate that. We can take back California. We need to show that our party has compassion and conviction. Thank you.
Well, we have had a lot of campaign forums this time around. We've been to the Elks Club and the Moose Club and the Repertory Theater and the IHOP and a bunch of other places. I can't tell you how happy I was to be here today with my fellow Republican women at the Paseo Club for our monthly meeting. It feels so good to be here. Our illustrious president mentioned something about being with like-minded people, and I think it's even more than that. I don't know if it's a true phrase, but it's like-hearted, and I think that's where our convictions come from. It's really what's right and what's wrong, not what's right and what's left. And I think that's what drew me to this group in the beginning. There are a lot of Republican groups in the Santa Clarita Valley. This is the one that does the work, Bob and Holly, and I love that about it. I have lived here for almost 20 years. I have 3 teenage boys. I'm happily married to a man who thinks I am crazy for wanting to do this, but very supportive nonetheless. I have been blessed to serve on the council for 4 years and certainly hope to be there for another 4.
I certainly echo the support for the Rebuplican Women Federated. I do believe that you folks are absolutely what is right with the Republicans in this valley. I'm Ed Colley, and I moved here about 17 years ago when I retired from the Air Force. I was also prior Army, and in the Air Force I served as a space systems engineer. I decided decided to do kind of a major career change 17 years ago. Rather than continuing as a space systems engineer, I went into teaching, and I actually now teach right across the street. I walked over here, teaching Valencia High School. Phenomenally good job, I love it. I decided about 10 years ago to go into elected service, and I ran for the Cascade Lake Water Agency Board of Directors. I defeated an incumbent that really didn't need to go, and I've enjoyed that service ever since. So I thank you very much for coming and listening to us, and I look forward to your questions.
We're so excited to have these people here. If you could hold your applause, that'd be great. We do really appreciate you. We appreciate everything that you wanted to say. If I could only see what I need to say. Okay, here's the next one. And you got a preview of all these, so you know I get it on my heart. What specific thing would you like to see improved in the Santa Clarita Valley, and why? What specific thing would you like to see improved in the Santa Clarita Valley, and why?
I like this. Read off, huh? Senior services right now. You know, we do a good job for our seniors throughout Santa Clarita Valley. Guys, if you've been over the senior center, you know we have a lot to do over there. We need to expand the services. We have to get over the family country. It's one of the things I feel very strong about. I'm on the Senior Center Foundation Board, and also on the subcommittee for seniors within the council. And I think it's time that we roll up our sleeves and get some significant changes and improvements made for our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I'm not going to say what I was going to say because Bob said it. So I get to say something else, and that is, I think that the main issue facing the city of Santa Clarita now is the planning issue. And that is a long-range planning issue because all of us, almost all of us anyway, moved here to Santa Clarita because it was a great place to live. It was a great place to bring your family and raise your family. And I'm afraid without the proper planning, and there have been some planning mistakes, that this valley will turn into the San Fernando Valley. And there are still nice parts of the San Fernando Valley. But my family moved there to here for a reason. And if we do not look at our traffic modeling, if we do not look at things like CMEX mine that we need to keep, to get rid of so that we can breathe the air, if we don't look at things like clean water for our kids to drink, these are big issues. And these issues face us, and they all have to do with good planning. So if there's one overreaching thing I would talk about is facing us, it is the planning. Listening to the people and making the right plan. Thanks.
Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm a prosecutor, a deputy district attorney. I prosecute felonies and mostly do them in the Antelope Valley. I just had a trial in Long Beach. I'm in a murder trial right now, so I have to leave a little early today. But that being said, my wife's a deputy sheriff. Most of my friends are deputies. Because of the liberal programs that have been established in our state, especially AB 109 and 117, numerous felons are now being released. They're being released on a weekly basis. I think we need a new police station. Our police station has been around since the 1970s, the early 70s. This is such a great city. We have so many great people here. We need a new police station. We need it to be centrally located to help everybody in this city and in the valley. We've had some serious crimes. We've had heroin, which is a big issue. We had a rape in Stevenson Ranch. That's serious for this community. We had a murder. That is very serious. So we need a new police station. Thank you.
Okay, tough to pick just one thing, but I'm going to say in the area of public safety, we need to make some significant changes to the programs that we have dealing with youth and drug use. Henry Mayo Hospital reported that in the last 2 years they had as many overdose cases come into the ER as they have in Parkinson's. So that's crazy. That's an enormous problem. We have programs that have been in place. I think we've outgrown them. They're a little bit outdated. I've been working with the Sheriff's Department and the Heart District and our Blue Ribbon Task Force, and we're about to unveil a new program that's going to be more state-of-the-art, more timely. It's going to involve sheriff reaching out to the kids reaching out to other kids to get the message out about drug use. Heroin is an enormous problem. So is OxyContin. Kids are getting medications from their parents' medicine cabinets. in addition to buying it from drug dealers who frankly give it away for free because they know once the kids use heroin, they'll pay anything to use it the second time. So we really got to ramp up our drug outreach efforts.
Absolutely agree with everything there. So an effort to pick something different. One of the things that I think is important that we improve our relationship between the city and the county. We all know that recently the county surprised, if you will, the city and city council with a suggestion that we might move our sheriff station actually outside the city limits to the northwest corner of our valley. Clearly not a good idea. It is reflective, I believe, of a continuing friction between the county and the city. And I think that, as I said, the Supervisor Antonovich in the meeting I recently had with him, it's certainly our government at its absolute worst when we have competition between our local governments. And so I believe that I will be in a position, as I've been appointed a commissioner by Supervisor Antonovich, to help maybe mend and fix some of those problems.
Okay, now this question sounds similar, but it's different. Okay, the last one was, what specific thing would you see improved? This one is, what is your biggest concern facing our city, and how would you work to resolve that concern? So try to be as specific as possible. Again, what is your biggest concern facing the city? How would you do it? How would you resolve that? How would you do it?
You know, that is a tough question, and I'll tell you why. Really, I look at two issues that are huge for this community right now. Public safety, and it's been talked about here, and I think we're all in concert. If we do not have public safety, then we've got a problem out here. We're in serious, serious jeopardy of losing the quality of life that we all enjoy. So we've got to pay attention to that. But I got to tell you, if that CMEX mine goes through as proposed, the mega mine on the eastern reaches of town, guys, I cannot begin to tell you the problems it's going to create for the Santa Clarita Valley, with emphasis for the folks living in the Canyon Country region. So therefore, I tell you, we have to continue as we have. From a city standpoint, we have, I cannot begin to tell you how hard we have worked to win this battle on behalf of this community, that we have not won it yet. And therefore, I tell you, we've got to reach out to all of the resources. We're getting down to crunch time. We have got to win this battle.
I want to speak to something, and it's a critical issue. It hasn't been talked about in the campaign a lot, because people say, well, that's not the city council's responsibility. And that is the education of our children right now. All the things that are on the burner right now, today, this is one of the biggest challenges. I want to thank Scott Council for bringing that up, because we're talking a massive cut to education. And we moved here so that our children could have great educations. And the problem we see now is that the cuts are hitting us locally. So we need to use our bully pulpit at City Hall to collaborate and to encourage and support whatever the solutions are that are brought up by our various educators, by various boards of education across our valley. Because if we don't fix the educational system, we don't make sure that they have the funding and the resources that they need, then our future is in jeopardy, because our kids are our future.
One of the main reasons I got involved in this election is because some of the deputies who were friends of mine came and talked to me in my house. And one of the main things they talked about was drugs. A lot of people don't see it, because if you're in a house where you don't have young kids, or you're working, no one sees drugs. They're not flying everywhere and they're landing on people's lawns. However, we now have seen it. And how have we seen it? Because young people have died. So when you have young people who are dying, now all of a sudden people are talking about it. But I'm going to tell you something. Drugs have been here for a while. I'm serious. And a lot of it's coming because the cartels come through San Diego. And that's what they do. That's how they make money. They're seriously now preying on our young people, especially heroin, because you can smoke it, because it's very potent. I'm going to ask all of you to really look at this issue, talk about it with everybody, and get together and try to come up with a solution to help everybody in this community.
think the biggest problem facing our city is what was the biggest one facing the entire country, and that's the economy. A couple of years ago, we unveiled as a city a 21-point economic recovery plan. We were one of the only cities in the state of California, in fact in the country, to do this. We're recognized nationally for having done it. And stepping outside of what we normally do in the day-to-day and working with businesses, working with Economic Development Corporation to say, how can we survive this? How can we come out of this whole and ready to go once the economy turns around? So I've asked city staff to come back and look at an update. We're actually having this on our agenda tonight, and it's going to be an update on 8 of the points on there. That, okay, where are we now? Where do we need to go? What are we doing with regard to economic development? Bringing new businesses with high-paying jobs into the community, and also filling the vacancies that we have throughout Santa Clarita. And so making sure that we have jobs, hopefully local jobs for people who live locally, and anything we can for the economy is key.
My biggest concern at the moment that I think would be something we need to take action on immediately is the chlorides in our wastewater. The estimates to fix this problem range from somewhere around 200 million to 500 million. The 500 million is probably, as government estimates go, on the low side. Working in the Castaic Lake Water Agency Board of Directors and other stakeholders in the community, we've been working on this problem for 2 years. We recently have completed a study that tells us that the assumptions that these Regional Water Quality Control Board uses in their model are simply flawed. And so we need to go back to the negotiating table. We need to go back and really deal with reality on what the real problem is. And that would be one of the first things that I would do.
You are such a polite audience. I want to applaud you for being so kind and letting our speaker speak. The next question is a little outside the box. It's not a political question necessarily, but it is a leadership question. And like Moses or Reagan, they were leaders. And the question is, the city council works as a team. Can you hear me? I know that's a good ear, right? The city council works as a team to make Santa Clarita a winner. We are a winner, right? So what leadership style do you bring to the table to impact the city council so that it is an effective team?
Courage. No coaching candidates.
Have you noticed this particular election, how much discussion there has been about listening to the people? Been a lot of discussion about it. I'm going to do something. I'm going to ask you, do I listen to the people?
Yes.
And my point being, I consider that leadership. Yes. It is interacting, knowing what the issues are, reading about them, listening to the people, and making informed decisions. It's not necessarily having to vote with the other council members, ladies and gentlemen. It has no measurement. It is an informed vote and listening to the people that counts. I've done it for 12 years. I'm going to do it for 4 more.
This has been one of my major campaign platforms, is how we interact with the citizens that come before us at the council level. And it's the reason what Bob just said, why I support Bob, because he does listen to the people. And I understand, everyone understands, that when you need to accomplish something, you need 3 out of 5 votes. And you must do that. And I did that when I was on the council for the short 16 months I was there. I got the 3 votes needed because you go and you convince people that this is a good idea. So you do work together. But on the other side, if our city council is just to be a rubber stamp, then that is not government. It's not a softball team with the city manager as the manager of your team. No, it's each one is an individual who has to listen to you, because we don't work for the team that sits up there. We work for you. And if that means disagreeing, that means disagreeing, and then going with the majority after they make the decision. Thank you.
There's many personal characteristics that I think is important However, what I've learned just from the short time of being around a lot of really good people who are very involved in city politics, especially people in the Republican Party, there's one thing that's missing. It's respect. We have to all respect each other. As a prosecutor, when I get my team together, my investigating officer, the deputies, the victims, the witnesses, I'm not screaming at anyone, even though I'm in charge. I'm not telling them how to testify. We get together as a team and we work together and we have a mission. It's to put criminals away and to make the streets safer and to do it the right way. And that's what we need here, especially with our party. As leaders, we need to show as a Republican Party that we respect one another.
I think the question, as I heard it, was leadership amongst the council members and how does that work? And truly, it's one of the things I like the most about our city council. There are 5 members. They can have 5 distinct backgrounds, points of view, places where they live. I like that because we are representing an enormous community. And I know Bob and I have talked about this. His constituency base is very different than my constituency base. How awesome is that the 2 of us can come together and bring those points of view? And the 5 of us may not always agree. God knows we don't always agree. But remember that the topics that come up for discussion at a council meeting are not discussed before the council meeting. So the first time the 5 of us have ever talked about anything is sitting there in public, on TV, in front of everyone, trying to build some sort of a consensus. That is not easy. It should be done with respect. I respect each of the 4 council members that I work with, whether I agree with them or not.
I will continue the leadership style that I have done in public service for my entire adult life, in particular the elected service I have done on the Cascade Lake Water Agency. The Water Agency works very, very hard to seek as much public input as we can possibly get. We do have citizens that come up that want to talk about rate hikes or other issues, and I'm very proud of our board that we always listen attentively. We're able to answer their questions and work together. The Cascade Lake Board is larger, so there's probably more personalities and more challenges, and yet we are able to treat each other with respect and work towards doing what's best for the citizens of this valley. And as a leader in the community, I always would expect myself to continue that, and if elected to the City Council, I will continue that into the future. Thank you.
All right, some of you touched on this just now, but I'd like to reiterate the question. And that is that many of the citizens, their constituents, don't always think that the City Council follows their desires or their wishes. They feel that they follow their own agenda. The City Council follows their own agenda. How will you work to represent your constituents and be more representative of the citizens you serve? I want to know some specifics here. You know, we can talk about, I want to bridge the aisle. How do you do that? How do you work to represent your constituents and be more representative of the citizens you serve?
Making yourself available to the community, I think, is a key aspect of it. We sometimes have a smile on our face when we call a particular booth over in Cocos in Canyon countries, City Hall East. And it's because, ladies and gentlemen, I frequently, as a matter of fact, about 3 or 4 days usually out of the week, I'm meeting with citizens talking about a variety of issues affecting our community. It's a source, and a meaningful source of information. Listening to the people that come down to the council meeting, extremely important. Reading all of the background material, reading the newspaper, knowing what's going on in your community, and ultimately voting your conscience. And that is to the best decision you can make. Not only for the seniors, not only for the families, not only for the children, but for everybody concerned. Thank you.
It's reaching out to the citizens and letting them know that you're there. Specific examples of that are what I have been doing for the last 5 years in the political arena. When I was on the council, I took the time to listen to every person that came before us and treated them with respect. If I did not understand what they were saying, I would go look it up. I would ask questions and ask questions and ask questions, and know what I was talking about, and know where everyone stood when I made a vote. And then when people would come to me and say, hey, we have a problem in our neighborhood up in Kansas, Linda Vista neighborhood, for instance, in Canyon Country, I would go there. I went there and looked at the traffic issues. I looked at the crime issues that they were talking about there. When the people over on the Cowgirl corridor called me up and their coalition called me up, I went there. I listened to what they said. I looked at the project they were having exceptions to. When the people in Singing Hills called me, the citizens, and said, help us make the city listen. When I was off the council, I went there. I walked the street with their picket lines. That is how you serve your citizens. You're there for them.
I think what some of these questions show is that we do need new, young leadership, different types of people to come into city council and change things up a little bit. Really go out there and talk to people and find out really what's going on and how to help people. I've talked to thousands of people out there, even going to their door and talking to them. People have real issues and real concerns, and they want to talk about them. They want to at least have you hear what they have to say. I think also I represent a lot of people in this community who work. And people who work every day can still come up here and represent the city and city council. And so a lot of these individuals who work, who go to work and come home, who are not as involved, I think they want to be more involved. I think part of our job as council members is to go out there and talk to them. Find out what's going on, see how we can help them. I'm young, I can run all over the place, I've been talking to a lot of people, and I think that's important to go out there and talk to them. Thank you.
Being a city council member is my full-time job, apart from being a mom. And I think that the key to listening to people is going out where the people are. We have a meeting twice a month and people come to City Hall and can voice their opinions on every item on the agenda or items that are not on the agenda. And that's a part of what we have to do. But another part of it is being out in the community, listening, talking, sharing ideas, getting feedback. This morning I was over at Valencia United Methodist Church for their mom-to-mom meeting. 100 moms in there taking questions, talking about their concerns and things they wanted to know about the city. That's what I do, and bringing that voice back. And so that the 5 of us sit there, representative of the entire community, and hopefully make a collaborative decision, respectfully listening to the people that we've talked to, and keeping in mind that we are making decisions for everyone in the community, not just the people at the meetings, not just the people that voted, but everyone.
Certainly agree with everything that's been said. It is very important for us as leaders in the community to be out in the community, listening to you, to seek as much information as we can, to go to the various meetings. I know, for example, that the Canyon Country Advisory Committee, while I certainly don't agree with everything that's ever been said at those meetings, I go to the meetings as often as I can to listen to another side, another point of view, if you will. And I think it's important that we have our elected officials out in the community doing those kinds of things. And I agree that it's not just the 3 minutes in front of the city council where you have typically the same constituency group speaking over and over again, but seeking input from the community out in the community is a critical role for any city council person.
We are so fortunate to have these quality candidates, aren't we? So in looking at these quality candidates, here's my last question, then we'll go on to yours. Why would voting for you be a wise choice?
I believe it would be a wise choice because we will continue to do great things together for this community and for this city. And all we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is for those of us that have been here for more than 5 minutes, is to drive across this community and think about all the things we've been able to accomplish since cityhood. It is huge, and we're not done yet. We're just warming up to this. There's a lot of great things to accomplish as we go into the future. Many of the things have been touched upon. I believe I have the background, the knowledge, and the desire. And even though I may not be the youngest guy in the room, I got a lot of steam in my engine. Thank you.
I think that the best thing that I can tell you about why it would be a good idea to vote for me, please, would be because I'm going to listen to you. Okay, you don't have to have a lawyer standing next to you. You don't have to represent a big multinational corporation. You just have to be a citizen of Santa Clarita. And you're going to either call me or email me or write me or stand in the council chambers, and I'm going to listen to your problem and I'm going to try to solve it. It's also a good idea to vote for someone who has a plan. I do. Go to timben.com to get more information, or look on this brochure. There's some right over here, or you may have gotten one on your doorstep by the many, many volunteers who are passing these out in the past few weeks. And there's a 12-point plan that I have for making Santa Clarita a better place. So these are a couple of good reasons, and one really important reason why it would be wise is because I've been blessed to be married for 20 years to a wonderful woman, and I listen to her.
Touche, Bob. Good answer. I'm going to stand up for this. I have two things that happened this past week that I think are real important that just talk about why you should vote for me. One is I've been walking around door to door. A lot of people have been helping me. Some of them are here today. And one of those individuals, I was getting really tired, and I had a headache, and I kind of had enough, and I'm an infantry person. But one of those individuals who's a lot younger than me said, hey, if we lose by 10 votes, how would I feel? And that person believed in me. And I kept going. And I went to a church, a Hispanic church, on Sunday, after my church, and I shared communion with the congregation. And I brought friends of mine, and I brought other people and leaders, and that pastor got up, and I talked to the congregation, and I didn't know him, and he believed in me. I believe in you as a community. I believe in this city. And I'm going to ask for your vote. Thank you.
I think it would be wise to vote for me because things are pretty terrific in the city of Santa Clarita right now. I know there's a nationwide trend that we want to get rid of some of the people who loop things up. We've had balanced budgets, on-time budgets every single year here. We said we would build a cross-valley connector, and we did. We said we would purchase open space and improve trails and parks, and we have. We said we would work closely with our sheriff's department to address the changing needs of our community, and we do. And I think one of the arguments, or the arguments that you'll hear from the challengers, are really are more personality-based and less in substance as far as what's going on in our community. This is a terrific community. Our city is doing a great job. Can we improve? Always, every day. We'll continue to do that. I think we have a terrific team sitting together on the city council. I hope to continue doing that, and I think, yes, it would be a wise choice to keep Santa Clarita going in the positive direction that we are.
On the front of my brochure, you can pick up over here, I talk about a life of service. I have spent every day of my adult life serving others. I started off in the Army and went over to the Air Force later on. I moved here. I worked with many charities. I worked as a school teacher, and I have served in elected office. And so the history of service that I have shown, I think, warrants your consideration as a possible vote. So again, I would ask that you pick up a brochure, or you can see a lot more about my life and what I have done. And frankly, quite a few details that other candidates aren't willing to put on the website. They simply go to www